Top of the Perch is back with another Tottenham victory. It's long overdue, it seems. It's been a poor run of form lately. Tottenham get the victory that I feel they truly needed to stop this from spiraling downhill. 4-1 victory at home against Newcastle today. What a game it was. Newcastle truly never really in this game. First 15 minutes, it was kind of just back and forth. I think that was the best opportunity they had in this game to take advantage. It didn't happen. Ended up a outstanding attacking play. Ends up with Destiny Udogie. Gets his first goal in a Tottenham shirt. A beautiful goal at that puts Tottenham up 1-0. And then I guess you can say just before half, 38th minute, Richarlison scores, I believe it's his first goal on the season, at least with his foot. He scores, comes back from obviously that groin injury. He's first start since that injury, gets a goal. We go into halftime up 2-0, come back from half. The attacking play just continues to keep flowing. Richarlison, once again, right there in the 60th minute, another goal with his foot. That's 2 on the day. He's on a brace. He was obviously looking for a hat trick. He got subbed off a little bit after that, but hey, 2 goals from Richarlison. Can't really say anything bad about it. I mean, that was a perfect performance from him today, or as perfect as it could be. There were some shots that he did miss. Yeah, you could have probably made those, but even then, it's a situation. I know that was a problem for him, all that. But then it ends up Son brought down in the box by Liver Moralto, the goalkeeper for Newcastle, gets brought down in the box. Tottenham's first penalty on the season that ends up with Son taking the penalty as kind of expected. I know there was a little bit of debate who it would be. Puts it in the back of the net. It's 4-0. Joelinton gets a goal back in the 91st minute. And we end up with a 4-1 scoreline. It truly probably should have been a 4-0 clean sheet, but it just doesn't happen that way. It was a very good performance from Tottenham today. It was a much-needed bounce back. Postecoglou kind of messed with the starting 11 today. It worked out, obviously. I do think this Newcastle team was a little bit hampered by Nick Pope being out with injury. But, I mean, the rest of their team is mostly still healthy. And Tottenham just controlled them start to finish. They had Kieran Trippier on skates like half the game. Callum Wilson just couldn't get anything going other than the Joelinton goal. He really didn't do much out there today. So Tottenham did a really good just job stopping this Newcastle team. Now, Newcastle doesn't look like the same team they were last year. Obviously, they're dealing with those European fixtures now. They have a game, I believe, on Wednesday, the last game of the group stage that they need to win. I don't know if you're just looking ahead to that. It's just, you would think that you're focused on points right now because I believe they're sitting 7th in the table. That's a game, if you're Newcastle, you have to at least get points in, and you can't let a drubbing like this happen because now you're going into your Champions League game where it's do or die for you, coming off this loss. You don't want that to snowball. And obviously Tottenham doesn't have to deal with those European fixtures this year, which, blessing and a curse. It is what it is. Tottenham, good victory. Like I said, was really happy with the performance. Postecoglou, it felt like they had a full squad-ish again, even though they really didn't. And I mean, Richarlison, that injury may save Tottenham's season, that injury that he had surgery on, because if he comes back and looks like a different player, which obviously in this game it did, I mean, pretty good, pretty good. I still think there's a long way to go. Injuries still a big problem with this team. Depth, a big problem with this team. When we get to the player ratings, I'll talk about that. But all in all, a good performance. So let's get to those stats. Not as lopsided as it was on Thursday. And that's another thing. The Tottenham played on Thursday. And they come out today, that's 3 days rest, 2 days, 3, something like that. And they come out and play like this. So huge win for this club. Tottenham, they were just at 56% of possession. They made it count today. On Thursday I said 75%, 1 goal. What are we doing? All that. This worked out better today. 22 total shots today, 12 of them being on target, or 23 shots, I should say, with 12 being on target. Good-ish conversion rate on those. 18 shots in the box, really happy about that number. 5 out of the box, which, again, I think it should be more heavily weighed to the inside the box instead of the outside. Obviously, that's what they did today, but sometimes those outside shots do help. Looking at Newcastle, 9 total shots, 3 on target, 6 in the box, 3 out. That's a pretty good performance for that Tottenham back line. There were still struggles there today. We'll get to them. Expected goals, Tottenham sat at 3.81, which is kind of expected, especially with that shot number and ending up with the goals scored. Ended up with 1.69 for Newcastle, which obviously less expected since that last goal, it still counts. Goal is goal. 536 total passes for Tottenham in this game, ended up with a 460 of them being accurate, so that's right around 86%. 409 for Newcastle, so a little bit more evenly matched than Thursday, clearly. They had 343 accurate, which is just around 84%. 12 fouls for Newcastle in this game, which ended up with 3 yellow cards compared to Tottenham's 10 with only 1. And Newcastle actually led in corners in this game, 6 corners compared to Tottenham's 3. I have noticed if Tottenham have less corners in the game, it's actually more likely that they win, it seems. I don't know why. You'd think more corners equals more opportunities at net, which equals more opportunities for goals. I don't know. But it was Newcastle with the 6 there. So let's get to the player ratings, as always. Like I said, Postecoglou kind of messed with the lineup today. Put Richarlison in the starting lineup, put him up top, which moved Son back to the left side, which moved Johnson to the right side, which moved Kulusevski up the middle. Sarr made his re-debut into the squad after his injury/illness, and that was all the changes, I believe. He did have Basuma playing in Sarr's position, and obviously they flipped positions back to their more normal, natural positions for those two. So those were the big changes. So we'll start up top. We're usually starting with Son. And now it's Richarlison. Gets his 2 goals in this game. Earns a 9.0 because of those 2 goals. Big factors. Big factors. Got subbed off, which I get. He's coming back from injury, so makes sense. But all in all, a very good performance from Richarlison. I was happy with it. I know it probably could have been a little bit better, but I mean, you really can't complain when you started it, I would say. Yeah, you really can't complain with that. Heung-min's son, his move back to the left side, what a performance. Earns him the player of the match, man of the match, whatever you want to call it. He had a goal, which was the penalty, but 2 assists. Always seemed in playmaking situations, which really helped his score today. Got subbed off, I believe it was the 90th, and that was in stoppage time. So truly didn't really matter him getting subbed off at that point. Tottenham had the game locked up, but a very, very good performance from Son today. Kulusevski in his return back to the middle. It was a 7.9. It was a good, very good performance, but it kind of seemed like he lacked a little bit in this game from what we saw with him doing on the right side. I mean, I don't know. I get it, but I don't. It is what it is. I mean, it still ends up with a good performance, but would have liked to see a little bit more from him today, which explains the lower score. Brendan Johnson, he earns an 8.3. He had like 3, I think, really good opportunities on net, including one in like the 75th to 80th minute range. I don't remember the exact minute. A beautiful curling shot that goes off the post, the far post. It was so close to going in. It was a beautiful shot, honestly. So perfect. And if it would have went in, it would have been awesome. Goes off the post, bounces back. I think he had another shot. It ended up being saved by the goalkeeper. But a very good performance from him today. Earns an 8.3. Bissouma got an 8.3 also. I mean, he really locked down in the midfield. After that just disastrous performance 2 games ago, I think it was, where I just don't know what happened with him. That was a Man City game. He has come back with 2 very, very good performances. Obviously happy with that. Sarr, in his return to the Tottenham midfield, earns an 8.6. A outstanding performance from him today. Honestly, it was just so perfect. He only played 73 minutes, which he's been doing that all year. But he was a very key performer in Tottenham getting a victory today, which is why I have him so highly rated here. But it's just his energy is just out of this world, I guess I would say, because I really haven't seen a player at this club that has had that quality. I mean, he's a very good playmaker, but he has an ability to seem to quicken the game's pace. I know there was a post-game article, I think it was from 90 Minutes, but the headline was Ange Postecoglou hands Pape Sarr the keys to drive his 100-mile-per-hour Tottenham car, which I think perfectly explains what Sarr did today. Sarr was almost controlling this game, and it was such a good performance from him in his return. And it was the player that we saw at the beginning of this year. Obviously, it took a little bit of a downturn, but just such a good play. Moving on, Udogie, he earns an 8.5. That goal today, absolutely outstanding. Great play from him on that left side. Davies earns a 7.5 in that central midfield. It was a performance. It wasn't great. Wasn't terrible. Romero gets a 7.9. He had a very good performance today. Obviously, the yellow card Could have been a red if we're honest. That was not a good tackle. It was, not great. I don't like that he does this almost every game and risks another suspension, because we've seen with him suspended, this central defense is quite bad. And then Pedro Porro, 8.6. Got an assist. Might be one of the best players on this team, honestly. He has grown into this team so much, and I enjoy watching him play. He's just such a great player. Kind of worried about him a little bit last year. Like, wasn't really developing under Conte. This year, completely different player. What Postecoglou has done to him is just outstanding. Vicario earns a 6.9. It wasn't a great time in net today, but he didn't really face that many shots. Højbjerg got subbed on first in the 73rd minute, along with Lo Celso. Højbjerg earns a 5.5 because he had some very Højbjerg-type moments in this game. I believe one of them was actually the lead-up to the goal for Newcastle, so not great. Lo Celso earns a 6.3. Wasn't an outstanding performance, but didn't really have a ton of time to have any impact on the game. Gil got subbed on in the 86th minute, same with Skip, and then Donnelly got subbed on in the 90th. As always, it's just not enough time to give a grade. Happy that Donnelly got some playing time, not happy that it was like 4 minutes. I would like to see him out there a little bit more, but hey, can't complain. He's still getting some minutes. Postecoglou earns an 8. I like the changes to the lineup. Seem to get us the victory today. So given that was the play ratings and all my breakdown from this match today against Newcastle. And that's going to be it for this episode of Top of the Perch. So if you stumble across this video, hit like, hit subscribe, tell anybody you know about it. We'll be back Friday. Tottenham travel to Nottingham Forest in a game that it might be a little bit important. Nottingham Forest kind of struggling right now. Tottenham need to fully regain those winning ways after it was 5 beaten, I guess. They haven't won a game in 5 games. That's a better way to say it. So Tottenham look to make it 2 straight on Friday in Nottingham. Hopefully you will tune back in for another episode of Top of the Perch then. But for now, that is going to be it. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you back again on Friday.